Mitengo ima, mitengo ima, iyo ima, mitengo ima, kutama amu, nanga malua, lua amawe, malua ama. Iwo ama malua ama kutama ambuye.
Right, thank you so much. I hope we are now wide awake. Right, in the morning, we looked at some reasons why we are not having a full attendance in Pathfinder Club. Some of the reasons, just a quick one or two. What are some of the reasons that we mentioned here? We have forgotten already? I thought we were talking about it just this morning. So when you go home, have you learned anything? Yes? Unpreparedness of the teacher. Yes, what else? What are the other reasons? So the lessons become boring because the teacher is unprepared, isn't it? What are the other reasons? Was I talking to myself? Maybe we should actually stop right now, isn't it? Yes?
Lack of variation in the teaching process.
Lack of?
Variation in the teaching process.
Yes, lack of variation in the teaching process. We said we should vary our teaching methods, isn't it? Right, so there are quite a number of reasons that we looked at, and we noticed that our children in the church are not all attending Pathfinder activities, which is a cause for concern. When they are not attending, where are they? And as teachers, we have a big role to play in their lives. This is why the church needs to identify capable people to take care of these children. Now, the first thing that a teacher must understand is the mission of the Pathfinder Club. What is the mission of the Pathfinder Club? What is our mission as teachers? Yes, we need to introduce young people to Christ. So they are written to lead the young people into a serving relationship with Jesus Christ and help them to embrace his call to discipleship. We are supposed to make disciples out of these children. Right? We've been asked to do it very fast, isn't it? So I will skip some of the slides so that we mainly go to the main points. So while we have so many varied reasons why they are not coming, we have a challenge. Those are some of the reasons that we talked about. Maybe there's no fellowship in the club. Maybe they are not involved. The programs might be boring. Maybe the teachers are not good enough. And maybe their needs are not met, and so on. So as Pathfinder teachers, we have a big role to play, and we have a challenge. And the challenge is to bring attendance to as high as the number of Pathfinder age group children in our church. So if in the church we have 100 children, let us make sure who are maybe between 10 and 15, let us make sure that they all come to Pathfinder. So what do? We have a call. Is teaching a calling? Yes. Right, let us turn to our Bibles. Romans 12. Does anybody have a Bible in here? Yes. Romans 12. Verse 6 and 8.
Verse 6. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, with the prophecy, let us according to the portion of faith. Verse 8. For he that exalted on exaltation, he that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth with diligence, he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. I skip verse 7. Verse 7. On ministry, let him wait on our ministry. He that teacheth, let on teaching.
Right, thank you. So we all have different gifts, and we need to make use of those different gifts. So that's part of the call of the teacher. Now, when we also turn to 2 Timothy 2, verse 2 and 15, it says, the things you have heard me, that's Paul, say in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others. Do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a workman who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly handles the work of the truth. That's 2 Timothy 2, verse 2 and 15. Right, in this verse, I would like you to take note of two things. First, it says, entrust who? Reliable men. So there is the issue of reliability of the teacher, which actually includes theological integrity and a person of spiritual calling. The other second thing is the skill level of the teacher. That is what is mentioned. It says who handles correctly the work of the truth, which means that we need a skill, a particular skill level. So that is a teacher. So if you are a teacher, you are called to be like that. So there are quite a number of verses that will show us what is required of this calling that we have undertaken as leaders and teachers. Right. One of the first thing, a teacher is a shepherd. Is that correct? So one of the first roles that we want to discuss of a teacher is that of a shepherd. Can you see this picture properly? What do you see in that picture? Is there anything that fascinates you at all? Do we know about sheep? What can you say? Who can say maybe one line there of the teacher as a shepherd? What do you think is happening in that picture? Or what do you see happening? Do you see anything at all? Yes. What's happening? Yes, ma'am. Okay, she says that the sheep are not scattered all over. They are together because of that gentleman in front. Yes?
The shepherd is leading the sheep, and the sheep are following the shepherd.
Mm-hmm. He says the shepherd is leading the sheep, and the sheep are following. Is that correct? Right? Anything else that we see? Yes? Or I could see seeing sheep that are not sure. Yes? There is one that has gone on its own and the shepherd is trying to catch up with that one. Okay? Yes? Sorry? Okay, they are on a green pasture. Yes? You want to talk about the green pasture as well? Yes. The environment looks safe. Right, anything else that we can learn from that picture? It's just one picture, but there are so many lessons in that one picture. What is the implication to us as shepherds? We said it's a role. One of our roles is that of a shepherd. We've talked about what's happening in that picture. So what is the implication to us? Can I give you 1 minute to discuss the bench where you are seated? Just by your bench. Just discuss quickly what you think the implication is to us as a teacher. What is it that we must do in our classes to achieve the role of a shepherd? I guess we have at least discussed 1 point. At least 1 point, isn't it? In a group. So let us quickly share the points that we have discussed. Just 1 point. What do we do? Yes.
It shows the shepherd is so caring and patient, as illustrated by that stray sheep. That results in the sheep loving the shepherd.
So he has talked about care, he has talked about patience, and he has talked about love. Yes?
Build trust with the sheep.
There is trust. The sheep trust the shepherd. Is that so? So wherever the shepherd leads them, they will follow. Yes? The shepherd is leading. Right, any other? Yes. Right, nice one. Somebody talked about the green pastures. She's saying that the shepherd is giving the sheep enough food. So he is feeding the sheep. Isn't it? Right. So what? Yes? Protection. So the shepherd protects the sheep. When one sheep gets lost, what does the shepherd do? They'll look for that one, isn't it? To make sure that they are all there. So that is our role as teachers. That is the first and most important role that we have as teachers of these children. We talked in the morning and we said to teach is to touch a life. You remember that? And we also mentioned that sometimes You are the first smile that a child has seen the whole day. So the way we handle them, it matters. So we are shepherds. And as shepherds, these are our roles in the class. We are supposed to feed them spiritually. Is that so? We are supposed to feed our classes. So we want to lead them. We said that our mission is to lead them to Christ and make disciples out of them. And that comes through spiritual feeding. And we are to lead our classes. How do we lead them? How do we lead them? Right, so those are the things we were talking about, some of them. Right, we said that we are leading. How are we leading them? How do we lead the classes that we have? Yes?
By being an example.
We are supposed to be an example, isn't it? So we lead an exemplary life. Right. The teacher is also a pastor's extension. Is that true? How? How is the teacher a pastor's extension? Right, there are so many tasks that we are supposed to do as teachers. For example, we have already talked about the feeding, about the protection, and overseeing all the activities of the class. If a child has been missing in church for days, what do we do?
Follow up.
Sorry?
Follow up.
Okay. We follow up.
Yes.
We visit. There are some children whom we have in the clubs who are not even coming from Adventist families. And we are supposed to make visitations. Somebody talked about units here. And units are helpful because they can make visitations also to their friends. Follow up. Why are they not here? And so on. So instead of just leaving everything to the pastor, some of the things we can do them in our small clubs, in the small units. So that way we care more for each child. And therefore, because they feel loved, then they will always find Pathfinder worthwhile. Right. Teacher is a protector. So somebody mentioned to say the shepherd also protects the sheep. And I'm happy with the two presenters who came before me. They were all talking about child protection. And that is our role as teachers. If you find that a child is being abused, even at home, don't you take action? You are supposed to take action. So we are supposed to protect these children in any way that we can. So the teacher is a role model. As a role model, we are saying we are a living example. What we do is what children copy. Children absorb from the environment, and therefore we need to live our lives in an exemplary way. Right, so basically, that's what we are talking about.